Guys, Rob McLennan back doing post number 2 of the video blog series here that I'm starting. Looking back at a little bit of a weekend recap, talking a little bit about what happened at Aqueduct Fairgrounds, Hollywood, talking a little bit about Shared Belief, and then we're going to do a little preview Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Turf Paradise, just a quick one. This won't be a super long discussion today. Looking back at the weekend, Fairgrounds was an absolute bloodbath for me. It was just one of those days where it got sloppy kind of halfway through, and everything I kind of zigged on, I zagged, and there was a lot of races that was either the favorite kind of won or a horse that really didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I tried to beat some of those favorites, and a couple that I did like, it wasn't enough to kind of get it together. The only kind of highlight was I had 3 or 4 in the late pick 4. If that's a moral victory, and it really didn't pay that much. It was $800 for $2, even with a $30 horse in the mix in high tie in the Champions Day Sprints of Fairgrounds. Might not get as much of a look from me here lately. Has been kind of a tricky track, and I've never really been a Southeast fan. That Churchill Kentucky racing circuit, Fairgrounds, even Gulfstream for that matter, becomes a pretty tough racetrack for me. Looking at Aqueduct was a lot more productive for me. Just looked at the first 5 races, and the $15 winner in the first leg, kind of off the Galusio entry, that Stonehenge first time out, beating the big Jacobson first time favorite. Sure, Magic did win at $9.50, kind of a interesting one there. I wasn't sold on that horse, but it was okay. Cavu beat my long shot there, Furlin Husky, by half, and I would have been really upset if Furlin Husky had won. And I went on to miss the next leg, but Furlin Husky ran really well at 10-1. That was the Mott horse getting first time Lasix. And Cavu was ran a really good race first time out. So maybe Furlin Husky at a much shorter price will probably win next time. The Contessa first time starter caught what looks like an absolute pig of Rudy Rodriguez's to win the 4th, Cheap Maidens. And then the last Zevo was just kind of the best, coming from dead last to win at $4.90. Nothing too crazy about that result, but Pick 5 did pay $1,800 for a $2 ticket. It would have been nice to have, but the Contessa first year was kind of a thrown in my side in a race that I tried to go narrow in. So I guess with 4 out of 5, with the $15 winner, it turned out to be an okay little sequence of races there. Last night I did a thing for the Assiniboia Downs, a bunch of Christmas parties, and we did a little bit of a handicapping seminar with a couple of them. Well, one group went okay, but there was a smaller group there, kind of an ag company, and it was a really successful thing. A couple of guys that had some early success hit a try early at Delta, paid $130. My top 2 selections came in a race at Delta, and another $150 here. Boom, boom, boom. And by the end of the night, by the time they got to Los Alamitos, these guys had asked for more programs. They were having a good time. And the Champion of Champions came, and it was a good race. I liked Riley's boy. He ran second at 10-1. So they kind of said, well, give us a super and a try to play, and we'll spend $60. And, we're up $500 for the night. What do we care if we can make some real money? So I wrote out a little super, and they kind of said, oh, yeah, we like these horses too. And so here you go ahead, and so they played it, and it comes in 1, 10, 9, 6, and the try pays $75, the super pays $9.50, and 2 people that had never been to the racetrack before walked home with $1,500. So I felt like I did a good job there, and that I think definitely got return customers, and that's a lot of what my job is all about. So then looking forward, actually I'm going to mention the Hollywood races quickly. I thought Satsuko had a really tough trip and probably needed one. Even though he did fade badly down the lane, he's going to improve next time, and probably a non-2 other than allowance race, because he is a non-3 lifetime if you really think about it. And I think he just didn't like getting squeezed down the inside. I don't like Blue Skies and Rainbows. He's just not my favorite horse, and he just got loose. So nothing I can say about that. Drill was kind of an even performance on the outside. Teddy's Promise today ran really well. Thought she widened the field, but it wasn't a great bunch. Judy in Disguise, Rumor second and third, kind of a very logical triactor today at Hollywood Park. The other stake was Osegua, ran third behind Temerain and Lucien. The 2 very logical favorites. Lucien ran down for Drysdale. So I guess that was a logical result in the Turf Cup. The 3 best horses, I think, ran 1, 2, 3. That leaves us with the Cash Call Futurity. Shared Belief. Say what you want about him. That was a really, really visually impressive performance. Dominated the field. Candy Boy made a good move into a tough pace and still held on there on seconds. I think Candy Boy is probably worth a bet back. But he's not going to be a price again. But Rank Privileges didn't really run a whole lot for me there. Maybe it's a little quick back off the Delta race. But Shared Belief, that was a really impressive performance, and he's probably one of the 2 favorites right now for the Derby in my mind, though whether he even makes the Derby is still way up in the air. But between him and Honor Code and New Year's Day and a couple other ones, I guess, that really have ran really well, that's kind of what's left out there. First, but we're just kicking off into Triple Crown season, and that's going to get a lot more interesting. Just looking, kind of flip through the works at Turf Paradise for the local fans here. Flexi Plus worked the other day. 49 flat. I think they're waiting to find a spot that's going a far enough distance of ground for him. He ran 3rd last time in a race that's too short. He needs a mile and 1/8 or longer, and that makes it a lot tougher to find spots. For Cash, the Zia Park Derby winner worked the other day, and you also had a 2-year-old that I kind of liked in Broadway Matinee, who I bet first time out at Turf and won, and worked in 36 the other day, and he'll be in a non-2 at some point here on the grass, and he looks like he could be an okay racehorse. Moving on, the Monday's card, you got maiden optionals early. It's kind of not an interesting race. The second, Bubba Fizz for Diodoro at 6-1. You won't get 6-1 though. That's a problem. Lewiston's in there. Wow, has Lewiston ever fell from what he was when he was kind of the 4th choice for the Manitoba Derby earlier in the year? He's a horse with a lot of issues though. So Lewiston, even though this is a 3-year-old race, I can't see him getting the job done. I'd look definitely towards Run Stormy Run and Bubba Fizz. The third is just cheap claimers. Bryant is a nice horse when he wants to be, but doesn't always want to be. Fourth race is kind of the interesting one. You get Looking Wild, who's been absolutely on fire for Diodoro. You get Choo Choo Charlie, who was claimed off Diodoro last time. You get Moncure on the outside for Jeff Metz, and then you get Arctic Fire, who's been second a couple of times in a row. If Arctic Fire ever got a race early, knowing the horse pretty well, I think he'd run a lot better. But Looking Wild is just going to be way too much early speed, isn't he? Like, in that race, he's been really tough. And 5.5 furlongs is a great distance for him, so maybe somebody can go with Looking Wild, he'll get beat, but I kind of expect him just to go back to the wire-to-wire victory. The 5th on Monday, Lucchese runs back with this horse that really needs a break. Claimed last time from Jared Brown goes to Chad Story. Nothing much there, but I think Royally Important Adriatic Moon are the 2 horses there. I think Lucchese needs to give 6 months off, and he hasn't had a break in 2 years. The rest of the card is pretty weak. Minotaur is not that good. In the 8th, I kind of like Fly Zone a little bit. I guess maybe worth a little bit of a look. And the 8th, I didn't have a whole lot of crazy opinions. I thought Looking Wild was an easy winner at a short price, and that was kind of my opinion of the day. Tuesday, you start the day with quarter horses. You get Mystery Tour, who's a half-sister to Dr. Chit. In the second, maiden optionals on the turf. She gets blinkers on for the local fans again, but you run into a Owen Hardy horse and a Kitchingman horse coming in from SoCal. So I think that another third is probably a impressive performance there. But Blunderstone for Owen Hardy is going to be 3-5, and your probable winner. Just flipping through again here, Stonewall Riot in the 4th is a horse I thought I had a bad trip last time, and this really isn't a super great spot for him. So Stonewall Riot is a horse you could actually use in the 4th on Tuesday at Turf Paradise. The 5th is a nice race. You get OK Indy and African Grey and Surfliner and a bunch of these hard-knocking claimers going a mile and tick on the grass. OK Indy was a local horse that used to be kind of excuse me there. Saratoga Boot for Chambers is probably the one to beat, though. I'm kind of like, I think the horse is probably just going to start getting good here. Again, the rest of the field card is kind of 35 non-2s, non-2 fillies on the grass. Maiden 5s. You get 10 races, so it does start pretty late, and you do get a horse that ran a pretty tough spot last time. You get Clear to Canada dropping in now for 3,000 for Silva. Silva loves to drop them in and just fire them when they're kind of cooked, but can win one more, and that's always scary. Just flipping through the Wednesday card. Listen You Fool for Echobury in the 5th. There's lots of speed in there, though. Grandpa Roy comes back for Troy Smith in the 6th, which is a $20,000 allowance race. You get Calling Hard 10, Gentle as a Breeze, Back Alley Rally. It's kind of a wide open race for what are basically the second best sprinters behind like that LA Weekend group. If you follow Turf Paradise at all, LA Weekend's an absolute monster. I would expect you to see him at Sunland near the end of the month. The 7th and 8th are just kind of cheap $30,000 races. I always like Mundy in the 9th, but also she's copacetic, worked really well the other day. I was told she could be ready for an improved performance like she did last time. And then going to the last, I've always been a Nautical fan, and Lepondo Moore just really hasn't figured it out yet. But Nautical seems like the one. Thisbe ran okay last time, but the Nautical for Jeff Metz would be my choice there. That's kind of all I've really noted at Turf Paradise. Obviously, we got another couple of weekends of racing before the new year. Detroit and Baltimore tomorrow, being a Bears fan. Go Ravens, kind of a big thing tomorrow. Kind of upset me that the Cowboys blew another lead. That's really great. So just let the Packers hang around until Rodgers gets better, right? But it was nice to see Cutler back. Obviously, the Saints really wasn't an impressive performance, but I'm not going to talk a lot of football. And the Woodbine meet, the 4 races today for Emma Jane. She had a really good day. Sonny Singh with the buzzer. That's kind of an interesting story. He's kind of an idiot, though, from what I've been told. He's not really much of a, I would say, positive addition to the Woodbine jockey colony. So I'm sure they just said, sign or see you later. We don't need your kind here. So that's just kind of an interesting thing. I would expect that story dies pretty quickly, though. And then obviously the big news, the Thursday announcement press conference of Assiniboia Downs announced a new deal with Peguis. I don't know a whole lot about the deal. We'll find out Thursday just like the rest of you. I'll probably come back and talk later in the week to talk about that and recap a little bit of the Turf Paradise. But other than that, good luck and good racing, everybody. And thanks for joining me on this Sunday evening live from Winnipeg.